The mansion was unusually quiet that evening. Rain tapped gently against the tall glass windows as Zara stepped inside, her shoulders slumped beneath her damp shawl. She had left that morning with hope in her eyes, hope that love, once confessed, would be returned. Instead, she came home with a heart shattered into silence. Zara was the maid, but not the invisible kind. She had worked here for 3 years, moving through marble halls and sunlit rooms with a grace that made the house feel warmer. And all those years, she had loved in secret, carefully, painfully, because loving someone like her was never meant for someone like Zara. Amara Sinclair, the millionaire owner of the mansion, looked up from her paperwork the moment she heard the door close. She noticed everything about Zara instantly: the red-rimmed eyes, the trembling fingers clutching her bag, the way her breath hitched as if holding back tears. Amara's chest tightened. "You're home early," Amara said softly, standing. Her voice was calm, but concern flickered in her dark eyes. "What happened?" Zara tried to smile. "It failed. I don't feel well," she whispered. That was a lie, but Amara didn't push. Instead, she stepped closer, close enough that Zara could smell her perfume, warm, familiar, dangerous to the heart. Amara reached out, hesitating just a second before gently brushing her fingers over Zara's wrist. "You're shaking," Amara murmured. "Sit with me." Zara should have refused. She should have remembered her place. But heartbreak made her weak, and kindness made her softer. They sat together on the velvet sofa, closer than they ever had before. Silence stretched between them, heavy and tender. Finally, tears slipped free. "I loved someone," Zara confessed, her voice breaking. "And she told me I was foolish to think she could ever love me back." Amara's breath caught. Slowly, carefully, she lifted Zara's chin. Their eyes met, Maid and Millionaire, worlds apart, hearts suddenly aligned. "Who taught you," Amara whispered, "that you are unlovable?" Zara had no answer. Only the ache in her chest, and the way Amara's touch felt like the beginning of something dangerous and beautiful. Zara tried to pull away, embarrassed by her tears, but Amara's hand remained steady beneath her chin, warm, grounding. "You don't have to tell me anything," Amara said gently. "But you don't have to be alone either." Those words undid her. Zara swallowed hard, her voice trembling. "I thought, if I worked harder, if I became better, maybe she would see me." But she laughed. She said love doesn't cross lines like that. Amara's jaw tightened, not in anger, but in something deeper. She had crossed countless lines in business, broken rules the world said were unbreakable. Yet somehow, when it came to the heart, everyone still believed in cages. "People are wrong all the time," Amara replied quietly. Zara finally looked at her properly, not as her employer, not as the woman whose name lit up magazines, but as Amara. Her eyes were softer up close, rimmed with something dangerously close to longing. "I shouldn't be here like this," Zara whispered. "Crying in front of you." "I asked you to sit," Amara said. "That makes it my responsibility now." A fragile smile flickered on Zara's lips. The rain outside grew heavier, thunder rolling in the distance. Amara reached for a blanket resting nearby and draped it over Zara's shoulders. Her fingers lingered, just a second too long, against Zara's collarbone. Neither of them moved. The air felt charged, like a breath held too long. "Zara," Amara said softly, tasting the name as if it were new. "Has anyone ever kissed you when you were hurting?" Zara's heart skipped. "No." Amara hesitated, giving her time, giving her choice. Then, slowly, she leaned in, pressing a feather-light kiss to Zara's temple. It was innocent. It was devastating. Zara inhaled sharply, her hands clutching Amara's sleeve. Without thinking, she turned her face, and their lips brushed, barely there, a whisper of warmth. They pulled back instantly, shocked. "I'm sorry," Zara breathed. Amara didn't look sorry at all. Her voice was low, steady, honest. "Don't be," she said. "I've wanted to comfort you for a long time." And in that moment, the line between Maid and Millionaire blurred, just enough for something real to slip through. The rain outside slowed to a drizzle, streaking the windows with soft silver lines. Zara sat huddled under the blanket, still trembling not from the cold, but from the kiss that lingered on her lips. Amara remained near, careful not to crowd her, yet close enough that Zara could feel the steady warmth of her body. There was something unspoken hanging in the air, a tension that made Zara's heart beat unevenly. "You didn't tell me your heart could break so beautifully," Amara said softly, her eyes fixed on Zara. "Or maybe I just never noticed." Zara laughed nervously, wiping her tears. "I don't think anyone notices when a maid cries." "You're wrong," Amara said, stepping closer. Her hand hovered near Zara's cheek. "I notice everything about you. Always have." Zara's breath caught. She had imagined this moment countless times in her lonely hours, dreaming of Amara noticing her. And now here she was, Amara Sinclair, untouchable, whispering her name like a secret. I don't deserve this," Zara whispered, her voice barely audible. "Don't think about deserving," Amara murmured. Her fingers finally traced the curve of Zara's jaw, tilting her face up. "You just have to let it happen." And Zara did. She leaned forward, closing the tiny distance between them. Their lips met again, this time lingering longer, tasting, exploring, a promise wrapped in warmth. The kiss deepened, gentle at first, then urgent, as if all the words they hadn't spoken could be poured into that single connection. Zara's hands found Amara's wrists, holding on like she would dissolve without her. Amara's hands tangled in Zara's hair, guiding, comforting, making sure she felt wanted, safe, and seen. When they finally parted, both were breathing heavily, foreheads resting together. "Why did it take me so long to see you like this?" Amara whispered. Zara smiled, her heart still fluttering. Maybe we were waiting for the storm." And outside, the rain began to fade, leaving a soft, silver calm over the world, mirroring the tentative peace settling in their hearts. The next evening, Amara insisted Zara stay after work. "I have something to show you," she said, a teasing spark in her eyes that made Zara's stomach twist in anticipation. In the grand dining room, the table was set for two soft candlelight flickering, wine glasses catching the glow. Zara's heart thudded as she took her seat, feeling like she had stepped into a dream. "Why, all this?" she asked softly, voice barely above the crackle of the flames. "Because," Amara replied, pouring her a glass of wine, "you deserve to be celebrated, not ignored. And I wanted to do this myself." Zara's cheeks warmed. She tried to protest, but her words faltered under Amara's gaze. That gaze, intense, dark, and impossibly intimate, made her feel like she was both safe and exposed at the same time. They ate slowly, talking about everything and nothing. Laughter bubbled between them, soft and genuine, a sound Zara hadn't realized she had been craving. At one point, Amara reached across the table, her fingers brushing Zara's. The contact was electric, simple yet searing, and Zara felt herself leaning closer without thinking. "Zara," Amara whispered, leaning over the table. "I can't keep pretending this is just work." Zara's heart skipped a beat. She could feel the heat of Amara's face so close, her breath mingling with hers. "I've wanted this for so long," she admitted. Amara smiled, slow and knowing. "Then why wait?" Before Zara could respond, Amara leaned in, pressing her lips against hers. This kiss was softer, slower, filled with the kind of tenderness that promised understanding, passion, and patience all at once. Zara melted into it, her hands brushing along Amara's shoulders, holding her as if letting go wasn't an option. When they finally pulled back, Amara rested her forehead against Zara's. "We'll figure this out," she said. "Together." Zara nodded, her heart overflowing. For the first time, she didn't feel like a maid or a lesser someone. She felt like she belonged. And right beside her, Amara's presence confirmed it, a love neither expected, but both desperately needed. Later that night, Amara led Zara to the balcony. The city lights stretched endlessly, a sea of gold and silver beneath them, while the cool night breeze tangled in their hair. Zara shivered slightly, and Amara draped a soft cashmere shawl over her shoulders. "Better?" she asked, brushing a damp strand of hair from Zara's face. "Much," Zara whispered, her gaze drifting to the skyline. But it wasn't the city that held her attention, it was Amara. Amara's eyes softened as she took Zara's hands in hers. "You know," she began, her voice low, intimate, "I've always thought love was complicated. But with you, it feels simple. Like it was always meant to happen, even if it took a storm to get here." Zara's heart fluttered. "I never thought someone like you could." Her voice broke, and she buried her face in Amara's chest. "You don't have to finish that," Amara said, pulling her closer. "I see you. All of you. And I don't care about labels or lines or expectations. I care about you." For a moment, the world disappeared, the city, the mansion, the rain, even the walls that had separated them for so long. There was only Amara and the warmth of her arms and the unspoken promise in her gaze. Zara lifted her face, brushing her lips against Amara's in a gentle, lingering kiss. Their breaths mingled, hearts beating in tandem. The kiss deepened, soft yet insistent, a quiet confession of everything they had held back. Fingers threaded together, hands tracing each other's curves, not in urgency, but in reverence. When they finally pulled back, Zara rested her forehead against Amara's. "Promise me something," she whispered. "Anything," Amara replied. "Promise me that we'll figure this out. That this, us, will grow." Amara smiled, lips brushing Zara's once more in a feather-like kiss. "I promise. No matter what comes, we'll face it together." Zara's chest swelled, a mixture of relief, longing, and newfound love. For the first time in her life, she felt seen, desired, and protected. And standing there on the balcony, wrapped in Amara's arms, she realized that sometimes the heart finds love in the most unexpected storms. The rest of the house slept, but in the quiet of the mansion, Zara and Amara found their own world. The bedroom was softly lit by the city lights spilling through the tall windows, painting their faces in gold and silver. Zara felt nervous, a fluttering mix of excitement and fear. Amara noticed, brushing a thumb over her cheek. "Hey, we don't have to rush," she whispered. "We can just be here. Just us." Zara nodded, but when she looked into Amara's eyes, she saw patience, desire, and unwavering affection. It gave her courage. Slowly, she leaned forward, pressing her lips to Amara's in a kiss that started hesitant, then deepened with growing certainty. Fingers twined, hands exploring lightly, hearts beating faster in the silence of the night. Amara's lips traced the curve of Zara's jaw, then paused at her temple, her soft kisses sending shivers down Zara's spine. Zara responded instinctively, her hands resting on Amara's shoulders, pulling her closer. Each touch, each brush of skin, spoke volumes. Reassurance, longing, and the promise of something tender yet unstoppable. They laughed softly when their lips parted for air, foreheads pressed together, breaths mingling. "You make everything feel possible," Zara murmured. "You've always been possible," Amara said, kissing her again, slow, soft, insistent. "I was just waiting for you to see it too." They spent hours wrapped in each other, talking, laughing, and kissing, letting the night stretch endlessly. The outside world, the mansion, the wealth, the labels faded. There was only them, Zara, the maid with a heart full of courage, and Amara, the millionaire who had finally crossed the line from longing to love. When sleep finally claimed them, they were entwined, hearts beating in harmony, lips brushing every so often as if reluctant to let go. And in that quiet, intimate space, Zara realized that heartbreak had led her here, not just to comfort, but to a love she never dared imagine, a love that was finally, undeniably, hers.